Hey everybody, I'm Brendan72Mo. A few days ago, I posted a video with all of the so-called hidden vehicles that were included in the Bikers DLC for GTA Online, but have not yet been unlocked for purchase in the game. Of course, by the time this video goes live, we might have one or two of them available. Now, I'm not one of those clickbait YouTubers who makes 25 videos that all say the same thing, but since posting that original video, which by the way is now my most viewed video on my channel, thanks to all of you for your support. But since posting that video, a few of you have left comments and sent tweets asking about each vehicle's performance. Since all I did was drive them around the block, I couldn't really say much. So I decided to spawn them in again and see how they do. You're going to see each vehicle compete with the best representative from its class in a short drag race, then watch it go around a rough approximation of Bruffy 1322's Cutting Corners GP racing circuit. Before jumping into that though, I have to say that I am not making any final judgments on any of the vehicles that you'll be seeing in this video. If you want what I consider to be the official testing and performance of these vehicles, then you'll want to head over to Bruffy's channel. There's a card on your screen for his channel now and a link in the description down below. I take his top speed and best fully upgraded series videos as the gospel truth for vehicle performance. This video is going to be much more informal and kind of serve as a first drive, though I don't have a whole lot of seat time in any one of them, so take it all with a grain of salt. So let's get started. Up first, I pitted the Yoga against the Gang Buffalo. Now, the mod that I was using actually has a speedometer towards the bottom right of the screen, but because I had to crop things to fit side by side, you can't see it. So, the Gang Burrito was able to reach a speed of 98 miles per hour before it ran out of runway, while the Yoga was only able to get up to 83, a difference of 15 miles an hour. And you can see that as the Burrito crashes into the building, the Yoga's still going over the last section of the runway. So definitely not the greatest in speed and acceleration. Then again, let's face it, is this van really meant for that? I think, honestly, with it being October, with it Halloween right around the corner, this was meant for everybody to be able to have the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine. It even has a livery available that lets you paint it, just like the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine. So, you know, that's what they were going for. Not a performance vehicle at all. Though it is pretty decent here as I push it around the corners. Since it doesn't get a lot of speed, it's not really that much to get around the track. I took off too much speed with the brakes there, because on that first corner it didn't brake soon enough and wound up going really wide, so the second corner I overcompensated. It happens. But, this thing handles all right. It's not really trying to get away from me. The back end is mostly staying in line. It steps out a little bit right here. But other than that, it's a drama-free, easy-to-drive vehicle. Something that you and your friends can probably have a shit ton of fun in. Yeah, it's a Yoga. It's a van. What do you expect from it? As we come down the back straight, it just putters along up to 75. Let's see if we can hit 80. Oh, we got 80. Will we get 85 before we have to make the turn? We did. Oh my gosh, we might hit 90. Nope, not quite. But still. It gets going. It got a little unsettled when I banged into that curb there, but what car wouldn't really, because I hit the wheels on the curb. So, across the line, that's the Yoga for you. Now we've got the Tornado Rat Rod versus the Sterling GT. Right off the line, you can already see that the Sterling GT is definitely a lot quicker. It managed a speed of 108 miles an hour before it went crashing into the buildings at the end, while the Tornado only managed 96 miles per hour. So definitely off on in terms of acceleration and speed. About, what is that, 12 miles an hour difference. But here on the track, I mean, even though it doesn't have the best acceleration, this actually wasn't bad to take it around the track. I expected much, much worse performance out of this thing. But honestly, it's got decent brakes. It goes around a corner fairly well without any fuss. I was a little conservative through those first two turns. Or this, I guess, this second turns, second and third turn. But coming in here, turning into this back straight, it turns right in for me. No problem at all. It does have a slightly wide turning radius, but as long as you're aware of that, you're not going to go crashing into anything at all. Of course, I had traffic turned off with the mod I was using for single player. By the way, I don't support mods in online. Yeah, you don't need them. Learn to play legit or don't play. But, yeah, the Tornado Rat Rod is a great car. Again, not probably going to win any races in sports classics, but at the same time, just driving around the lobby, having fun with something that just looks really badass like this thing does. It's a fun car to drive. It handles good, doesn't get unsettled over bumps, and it just goes. It's really easy to take it through. So now we have the Raptor up against what has to be the worst mismatch ever, the Shafter V12. The Shafter manages to get all the way up to a speed of 119 miles per hour, with the Raptor trailing behind at 97 miles per hour before it goes crashing into the buildings. And again, that's really evident. You can see that the Raptor is trailing behind. But then again, I don't know. I don't think that this thing was ever meant to be fast, was it? What it is unique. And I'm going to demonstrate one thing here really quick by backing up. You may notice I didn't turn the wheel at all. But for some reason, if the camera is still angled, this will back up at the angle that the camera is facing. It's kind of a weird characteristic of the car. Hopefully they get that fixed before it actually releases to us. Anything could be changed on these vehicles before they wind up finally releasing. But let's take it around the track and see how it does. Which I have to say, there are two things about this. I don't know, I guess we call it a car. I mean, yeah, it's a car. It's in the sports class. There are two things about it that I have to really point out. One is it has really, really responsive steering. I mean, the slightest steering input results in you making a turn. It's not something that you really have to push a lot at all. The second thing is you saw, as I went over those two curbs on that short straight, and you'll see again as it goes over the railroad tracks here in just a few seconds, well, not a few seconds, probably about 30 seconds, is that any bit of uneven pavement, any bit of uneven terrain, or a stop sign for that case, or any bit of anything uneven causes the back end, even that pothole, causes the back end to kick up. I guess it's because it's so light. I don't really know what's going on that causes that, but you got to be very aware of it and be careful with it, or it will spin around. And I'm going to spend a little extra time now with the Raptor just to kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about with some off-roading. You can see right there as the clip began, and there again, it goes over a bump, and the back end comes around. It hops and bumps and jumps, and every time, I guess because it's so much more front heavy, the back end just spins all around. Nice thing about it, you can get it corrected quickly, that you will be able to bring it back around. Normally going over jumps, it lands really flat. On this one, it didn't, because it was going back downhill, and of course that weight towards the front caused the back end to nearly come all the way over. But what we're going to do is take it around the corner here and go on some dirt, which brings me to another thing. If you don't have a lot of speed in this, the Raptor doesn't want to turn in. Its turning radius becomes huge. But if you're at speed, it'll go right in, just like it's on rails. It's really peculiar. But you can see I'm really struggling here in the dirt with this uneven pavement and the bumps and the rocks, and, you know, parking it in a tree, because, hey, where else are you going to park a three-wheel vehicle but in a tree? But even jumping over those little rocks there, it wants to flip over. I don't know. I'm going to reserve my judgment on this vehicle until I get a chance to drive it some more. But be aware, if you do wind up buying the Raptor when it comes out, there are some challenges that come with it, though it is still quite a bit of fun to drive. And it's something that is really entirely new to GTA Online. We've never had a vehicle quite like this in the game. So, you know, at least it's something new. I like seeing Rockstar go in a new direction with things and trying new things. Which brings us to motorcycles. So I pitted all 6 of them together, have their names there on the screen so you can see which is which. Real quick, the top speeds, the Baddie, 130 miles an hour, that's our baseline vehicle. The Shotaro, 123 miles an hour, the Vortex, 116, the Sanctus, 119 miles an hour, the Esskey, 111, and following at the end, the Daemon at 104 miles an hour. Several bikes are finished long before the Daemon even got to the finish line. I even ran out of footage for some of the other ones because I just didn't really think there'd be that big of a gap. But now let's take all these bikes around the Cutting Corners track and see how they do there. The Western Daemon, the original Western Daemon, not the new one that we're getting, has never been known for speed. It's pretty low in the pack as far as in terms of performance. This one's not really going to be that much different, though it does feel as though it's a little bit quicker. The engine gives off a different note. The exhaust has a different sound. Even the flames that come shooting out of the tailpipe sound a little bit different than the regular Daemon does. Around the corners, though, I mean, it's doing fine. It even managed to get a midline speed boost there, or double clutching as some people call it. It's not a challenge to drive this bike at all. It stays planted firm on the road. Bumps don't seem to really unsettle it all that much. It's not something that wants to spin out in a corner. You can spin a bike out in a corner. It's difficult, but you can do it. But yeah, it's fine. It's got good brakes. For what it is, it's a fine bike, but you're not going to win races with it. And as we come across the line, we will move on to our next bike, which is the Esskey. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Can't imagine how you'd say it any other way. I'm not really sure what this bike is supposed to be, honestly. It sounds like a dirt bike, and it shares a characteristic with a lot of the dirt bikes in the game. You can see it right there in that turn. Is, I guess you can almost call it a drift. That back wheel will step out even though the bike is still completely under control. Of course, if you keep going into the turn, it will eventually spin on you. But it does let you get around the corners, I think, maybe a little bit quicker. I could be wrong on that. But this bike isn't really all that fast, especially since it carries the Pegassi name. I mean, come on, the Pegassi is the Zentorno and the Osiris and the Vaca. I mean, we're talking some fast cars in the game. Then again, Pegassi also is on the Faggio. Yeah. Anyway, this bike is a little bit light. You saw it there that it wanted to bump up and over the pothole back there, and same thing on the railroad tracks. Could be more to its dirt bike type suspension. I don't really know, but it's a decent bike. It's okay if you're looking for a new dirt bike to hang out with. But that brings us to the Sanctus. I think in Latin, Sanctus means holy. I'm pretty sure. But this bike is really interesting. It, again, has a really wide turning radius. It does not want to go around a corner. I mean, you could handbrake turn and get it to turn in, but then you shave off speed. It does handle bumps really well. It just doesn't want to turn a corner whatsoever, which is surprising because the LCC Innovation and the new Avarice that we just got, even though they're long cruising chopper style bikes, they will turn in a little bit better than this does. What this bike does have going for it is a massive amount of torque that just causes it to go. I mean, it had, despite not getting up to its speed as quickly as possible and finishing in 4th place in the drag race, it actually had the 3rd highest top speed at 119 miles an hour. And I think we even get a little bit faster here. This is a fun bike to drive, and it's one of the few bikes that I know of that you can do donuts in just by pressing the gas and turning to one direction. So that was the Sanctus, which brings us to the Shotaro. And right now, well, after the video actually, I want you to go Google Shotaro Complex and tell me what the fuck Rockstar was thinking by naming this bike that. But even though it has an unfortunate name, this bike is quick. It's quick off the line. There's no drama, no wheel spin, and it turns a corner. Matter of fact, you notice I'm cutting a lot of these corners, mainly because I was expecting, due to the length of the bike, I was expecting it to have a really crap turn in, but no, it doesn't. This thing can carve a corner, man. It is really fantastic. Got a little bit out of way from me there because the curb unsettled a little bit, plus I was probably pushing a little bit too hard. But man, look at that, coming around that hairpin. This bike, no problem whatsoever. I have noticed that it does get a little bit unshaky, or a little shaky over uneven pavement, but not too terribly bad, and it makes some sick noises when you're on and off the throttle with it. So that is a quick lap with the Shotaro, which brings us finally to the Vortex. I'm going to be really interested to see where this bike finally winds up placing once Bruffy releases his updated motorcycles video. It doesn't make a lot of noise, it doesn't have a lot of drama to it, but the Vortex is good. It's a good bike. It seems to have really good acceleration. It seems to have decent speed. And it goes around a corner unbelievably well. Matter of fact, the only bike that I know of that can take a corner as well as the Vortex is the Dinka Akuma. And that bike can carve up corners. But look at this thing. I am not struggling at all to push around these turns. It just goes, man. It carries the speed right through a corner. I think this might make this bike rather competitive in terms of motorcycle racing, or even just, hanging out in the lobby with having a quick bike. This thing is really, really good. I like it a lot. And there you go. All 8 vehicles against their competitors and around the track. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please hit that like button and get subscribed. And leave a comment down below letting me know which of these new vehicles you're most looking forward to. Before I wrap it up, I want to once again say a huge thank you for all of the support that has been shown to my channel in the past week. I have a small channel, so literally tripling my usual monthly views in just 1 week is a big deal. Adding over 100 new subs is really cool too. If you're new to my channel, I hope you'll stick around. I upload a lot of GTA Online videos, and I have quite a few videos featuring other games as well. I just started the Mafia 3 series that you might want to check out because, well, it's a pretty badass game. I also live stream 2 or 3 times a week, so check the schedule on the About link of my channel and come hang out with me during the live stream. Better yet, if you play on PC, add me on Social Club and just come play with us during the live streams. Again, thanks to each and every one of you for all of your support over the past week. I'm Brandon72Mo, and I'll see you in the next video.